If you're trying to meditate and you're sitting and you find that there's pain, maybe if there's pain like in your hips or there's pain in your legs, like I'm doing a half lotus right now with my left leg up. There's pain in your back, that's another common one. What I would suggest is you can do a couple of things to be able to meditate without the pain. Number one is, let's say you can use a wall. You know, you can get behind a wall and just sit in front of the wall. That will help release on the pain for your back. For your legs, you can, instead of going at the half lotus, you can just go with a regular style, just like this. Let's say if this was painful, you can also just sit like this against the wall, legs out, leaning back, and then you just meditate. So just imagine, while sitting here, just like this, and just meditate. And so maybe if sitting here was now straining your neck, I'm just now going into scenarios because a lot of times when we're meditating, we're sitting still. We're sitting still and we're starting to bring awareness to how the body feels. And if our body is, if there's tension in the body, we're gonna go ahead and feel the tension. When we're constantly moving around, when we're constantly like being distracted, we don't feel the tension. You know, we don't feel the pain, the discomfort in our body. So sometimes if you're doing the best you can to adjust your movements and you're still feeling pain, you just have to deal with the pain. Bring your attention to the pain, you know? So if you're sitting here and you feel pain in your neck, you feel pain in your upper back, you know, you feel some type of weird, all kinds of different things happening, bring your attention to it. Bring your attention to it and focus on it. And at the same time as you're bringing attention to it, relax. So every time when you're exhaling, you're inhaling, and then when you exhale, you relax that area. So between bringing your attention to the areas that are discomfort, that along with the exhaling, it would help release the tension. The tension is there because there's some type of energy block, and it will help release it. Another simple way, which is good to do, but I wouldn't recommend doing meditation every time this way. But in the beginning, when you feel like you want to meditate, you want to slow things down, you can always just lay down. But the downside about laying down is, number one, if you're not used to meditating, you'll just end up falling asleep, you know. So, but it's okay, you know. It's just part of a practice. I used to fall asleep all the time, so it's no big deal, right? You have your hands, palms facing upwards. Make sure your head is not tilted backwards because doing this will strain your neck. So have your chin pointing kind of slightly this direction, maybe about 45 degrees. So if you notice the back of my neck, if you can catch it there, we want our back of our neck to be straight. So if I do this, the back of my neck is now rounded. So if I do this, tucking in my chin, it keeps the back of my neck straight. You see, if I was to sit up, here's another way. See, the back of my neck is straining when my head is tilted back. The moment when I tilt my head forward, tuck in my chin, see how the back of my neck here, my spine becomes straight. So a lot of people also talk about meditation being, how do you go ahead and straighten your spine? How do you know, when you're meditating, you gotta have your spine tall, chest out, and all this stuff. And it's kind of tough to do it. Here's a trick that I found that really helps with that. Imagine that the sky is a giant magnet and it is pulling your head, pulling the top of your head towards it, lifting it up gently. So this way you're not trying to stick out your chest, you're not trying to straighten your back, you're not bringing all of your attention to those areas. Instead, you bring your awareness, your attention to the top of the head, and by drawing the top of the head upwards, naturally, everything would straighten out to the best that it can at this point. Now, I'll make this point very clear. If you have bad posture right now, it doesn't help to try to force your body into the right posture because you're not going to get into a right posture just right away. It's going to take time. It's going to take time for your body to adjust itself, to loosen up certain areas and to make these adjustments until you get your posture into a good posture where your spine is straight. And if you try to go ahead and force it, all you're doing is straining other parts of your body. But if you go ahead and do this technique to where you focus a magnet on the top of your head, and now let's say I'm sitting like this, and if I was to imagine a magnet on top of my head that's pulling me up, my head would naturally just go upwards. And then it'll go to here. And so I'm not even focusing on my back. I'm not focusing on my chest. I'm just focusing on the top of my head, going upwards towards the sky. And so by doing that, that helps with the posture. So to summarize the tips here, first thing is if you're feeling pain, you can go ahead and adjust by, let's say, crossing your legs to be just a regular stance, you know, just on the floor, and you don't need to cross your legs up or something like that. You can just have it this way. If you have pain in your back, use a wall to go ahead and lean against, okay? And also, if you still have pain crossing it, you can always just extend your legs out. You know, try to do your best to keep your spine kind of tall, you know, kind of tall, and using the back would really help. And if you even have pain this way, you can always just lay down. Palms open towards the ceiling, towards the sky. Chin pointing towards your feet, towards your chest. And not in a straining type of way, just in a natural way. You know, just try to do your best to kind of point it. And if it feels kind of awkward, it's okay. You know, just do the best you can. And if you're doing all of these things, you still find that there's pain, then you just have to do the best you can and deal with the pain. And the trick to dealing with the pain is to bring your attention to the pain. Take a deep breath in, slow breath, not like super inhale, just deep breath in. And then when you exhale, relax and bring your attention to the area where there's tension. Bring your attention to the area where there's pain. So you do that, you can let that go. And the last thing to do is to go ahead and imagine that the sky is a giant magnet and is pulling your head upwards. That would help straighten out your spine and help you out with your posture. And that's it.